Hey everybody, it's Friday. It means it's a Friday edition of Box Seats. I'm your host, Frank Holder. I'm here with the comedians known as Talent and Fig. These guys have been in comedy for a long time. They know what time it is too. They've been in films, film festivals, commercials, everything related to comedy, and now they're in a sports talk show we call Box Seats. Gentlemen, how you doing today, bro?
It's a stone cold blast, man. Good weather has bestowed itself upon us here in the New York area, baby.
I can only imagine. Fig, how you doing?
I'm on the East Coast living like I'm on the West Coast because it's warm, baby.
All right, let's do the COVID report like I always do. First off, real quick, I'm going to say that yesterday I talked about Japan and the Olympics. Japan has now moved forward with other festivities, and they still are continuing to have no fans in all the festivities, but Japan is inviting President Joe Biden to some of their festivities for late April, which is kind of interesting because at the end of the day, there's no, they don't want no fans. Lastly, UFC Francis Ngannou, is known as the Predator, is fighting tomorrow night against Stipe Miocic. He is what UFC is calling the Mike Tyson of the UFC because he basically knocks people out in one round or less. He gets 71 seconds he averaging, and he can only be compared to Mike Tyson. So people are looking forward to that. And the next thing I want to mention, and then let's jump into it, is Leonard Fournette signed this morning, y'all. We talked about him yesterday. Talent. He officially signed with the Bucks. I'm going to ask you this: do you think the Bucks going to move on with him and without AB, or you think they're happy, or you think that they're going to say, you know what, let's just keep this thing rolling, and we don't have to be worried about what train what we got right now? You know what I mean? What you think, Talent?
I think they're happy, but I think they're gonna. I don't see them moving without AB. I see them still working on that as well. As far as the thing you said before that about them inviting Joe Biden to go out there, but I wouldn't go.
You wouldn't go.
It's a setup. It's a setup. Whenever any event is, we're not inviting nobody. Nobody could come, and then they go, but you could come. I'm not going.
All right, my man Fig, what do you think? What you think?
Yo, man, the way America's relationship is with Asian countries right now, I wouldn't go neither. I don't trust that. I don't trust that. They told Joe Biden he could come and was like, yo, you don't even need Secret Service. We got you.
Yeah, but what you think about Leonard Fournette and signing with the Bucks?
Man, I think it's good, man, because Fournette did an excellent job, man. Decent running back. He runs hard. He can catch the ball out of the backfield and stuff like that. But to be able to take the top off of the defense, man, I still think they need a player the quality of AB. I think they still need him, and they'll be sorely lost without him. Remember, he did a lot in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, he did. And the other leading story that I want to talk about before we jump back into the NBA, the Saints cornerback last night, he got arrested, named Marshawn Lattimore. He got arrested in Cleveland while he was in Cleveland for receiving stolen goods. I don't know if y'all heard about this, stolen property and everything else. He got bailed out late last night and everything else. Now, when you're in the NFL, the NBA, any major league sport, I'm going to ask you what is the most obvious question. Shouldn't you know better than going in the hood, getting some stuff? I mean, I don't understand it, Talent. I don't understand. He put his career in jeopardy. Not that he's going to lose his job, but you put your career in jeopardy. You shame your family. I mean, the domino just keeps going down. What you think, Talent?
Yeah, well, first of all, stop expecting stuff to make sense with these players. Yeah. When you look at something simple like the NBA, right? You look at the NBA, the guys are making more money than they normally make and getting less haircuts. So this is another case of you're making a lot of money, but you still want the hookup.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Fig, when you hear about this, the Saints cornerback, he act like he's not getting paid, but he's still trying to get a hookup. Basically, like Talent said, a hookup.
Yo, man, let me just tell you something. Everybody loves a deal, especially black people. Man, we've been some of the most marginalized people on the face of this planet. And I don't care how much money you got, you want to hold on to as much of it as you possibly can. So if I could get a deal on a 60-inch flat screen TV for $59, I don't care how much money is in my bank account. I'm going to buy that TV. We love a deal.
Okay, I hear you say you love a deal, but I love a deal too, but I don't love a deal that's going to risk my freedom. Sorry, I just don't love
First of all, there's a deal and then there's the hookup.
Yeah.
Don't get it twisted. A deal is, oh, look, the shirts are on sale, 10% off. That's a deal. Legit store, walk in there, receipt, the whole nine. The hookup, however, Mr. Figman, that's always illegal.
Yeah, and not the right thing to do.
First off, I would like to know what kind of stolen goods he actually received, man, because that's real ambiguous. That's ambiguous. He was arrested for receiving stolen goods. What stolen goods did he receive? And did he know they were stolen? How you know?
Here's the thing. He received enough stolen goods to get properly arrested.
It's dumb funny, though.
Yeah.
You know, man, you can get arrested for receiving anything that's stolen.
No, but here's the thing. For grand larceny, but if the serious charge of it had to be worth over $250. So he got serious.
$250 ain't no money.
Hold on. Grand larceny is $500 and better.
Well, here in Massachusetts, $250.
Oh yeah.
Oh, man, here's the thing. I know it's in Massachusetts. Here's the thing about Massachusetts. Ain't y'all
it ain't in Massachusetts though. It wasn't in Massachusetts. It was in Cleveland. It was in Cleveland. So that's really bad. He got arrested.
So in Cleveland, is that what they call one of them states? Is it something? It's a word that I'm trying to think of. Is a Commonwealth? Is there Commonwealth out there in Cleveland? Because in Commonwealth, you can get in trouble for just telling somebody who got some stuff.
Fig, you said wealth. Wealth in Cleveland don't get to go along.
I said Commonwealth.
I heard you. I said you said wealth.
In a Commonwealth, the word ambiguous is against the law.
Yeah, it don't go together.
The hell is wrong with you?
It does not go together. Now, let me jump into the NBA because we want to talk about, obviously, what happened with some games and stuff like that. But the first thing I want to talk about last night, before I jump into all that stuff, is I want to ask you, Talon, do you think the refs are doing too much? Because we saw the Sixers game and the Lakers game. The Lakers, in case you didn't know, the Lakers lost their fourth straight and everything else. That's news, too. But to me, Dwight Howard getting ejected, man, it seems like the refs are doing too much and they're trying to take away the excitement of the game. And they're trying to be the stars of the game. When people do not go to see the NBA to see the refs. That's my thought process. Like, it really pisses me off. So what's your thought, Talon?
You know, it's funny. It's funny you say that. It's funny you say that people don't go see the refs. But I know for a fact that a lot of referees, that is, they deem that their moment to shine. Mm-hmm. They deem themselves borderline, celebrity or super important because of that reason. I remember playing in the league in Chelsea Piers before down in New York City before the pandemic. We used to always argue with the refs like that because the refs were ex-players who thought they knew the game or looked at the game a certain way, and they would put themselves in that play when they make that call or not make that call. So I think that, believe it or not, I think we sleep on the refs. We got a lot of dudes out there in this headspace of, I'm the end-all be-all of this game.
Yeah, but the NBA refs, I don't think the NBA refs are not former players. A lot of them, they started playing. They started refereeing from high school to college, and they go to NBA. You know what I mean? So I get what your point is.
No, but I'm just saying they're still in that headspace of thinking that this is their 15 minutes of fame. Every time they step on that floor, if a ref feels that way, whether he played or not, if a ref feels that way, then that's how they're going to call the game.
Yeah, that's true too. They feel empowered. You know what I mean? Entitled. I would say
that's the word. That's the word.
Yeah, Fig, what you think?
You have to, as a ref. Listen. On the one hand, I hate the fact that the refs are injecting themselves into the game as much as they do, but you have to remember, in the referee field, the NBA is the highest level of your career. There is no place that you can go from there to from being a referee. I mean, you do your sandlot sports, you know what I mean? Your high school, your college. And when you get to the NBA, I mean, that's the pinnacle of your career. So, of course, you want to inject yourself into the game. But I find it possibly very difficult for the referee to officiate a game that's been watered down to the point where they've taken a lot of the aggression out of the game. And when they see a slight bit of aggression, they overreact. And it's very difficult to do. And they have bosses too. So you never know what the bosses are telling them.
Yeah, I definitely have to agree with that part. So let me ask you all this. I'm gonna keep the thing going on and keep the conversation going on. The Lakers. Let's just talk about the Lakers for a hot second before we jump and talk about the Knicks. The Lakers lost their fourth straight. Is it a bonfire out there, man? Like, in talent. Like, you think it's a bonfire? What you think?
Not only is it a bonfire, they throwing wood on that flame by the minute.
Okay.
You know what I mean? That flame getting bigger and bigger. And here's you thought they would have been able to pull off a move that they didn't before the trade deadline. So now they got to go shopping and pick somebody up just like, who's been released, who's out there. You can't trade or work with a team or anything now. So that flame is getting bigger and bigger. You know how they tell you, man, if your stoves catch fire in the house, don't throw water on the grease fire.
Right.
That's
I definitely would have to agree with that one. But Fig, you think the Lakers are in trouble now? Because obviously we know
about
the
Let me tell you something. The Lakers are in trouble because their two best players are out of the lineup. And I'll go as far as to say, take the two best players out of any lineup on the team in the NBA, and that team is going to be a bonfire waiting to happen. Any team, I don't care who it is, take the two best players off that team and then let them play the competition at full strength. Bonfire, baby. Bonfire.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I'm good with that. Now I got to talk about the game that everybody's waiting for me to talk about. My New York lovers in the building. I'm going to just say this right now.
Say it with your chest, Frank.
I'll start back again. The Knicks were down by 17. The Knicks came back and they won the game. The Knicks are doing something special in New York. We got to say all that talent. What is your thought process when you see the Knicks doing what they doing besides you hold up that picture? What's your thought process?
Well, I slept like this last night. I went to bed. I got 3 more of these, and I had 3 of these, and this is how I slept. Let me tell you something. And Frank, you're right. You said something off air that was 100% right. You was like, T, they've been doing this all season, and I don't know why you're acting like this now. 2 reasons I'm acting crazy now. One, because I always wait till late in the season to see if something's real deal Holyfield. And 2, because of scheduling and things opening up and my scheduling, this is the first time I got to sit down and watch a full tip-off, final buzzer game of my team this season because of COVID reasons. But I was so excited, and I think this, and we're still talking about adding that player and doing something. Now I'm going to say something that Frank said about a month ago. I don't know if I would do anything to disrupt the chemistry. They were calling plays. I watched them go 17 down, call plays, bring it back up, go back down 17. Call plays, bring it back up. By the end of the third quarter, you only got 1 quarter left. And the execution and dedication and focus of these dudes, this team, that's what I call camaraderie on that court. That's the thing we was expecting and waiting to see a whole year from the Clippers last
year. Yeah. I will say this too, Talent. If the Knicks make a move and they get that, because Andre Drummond agreed to the buyout yesterday, it finally became final. If the Knicks land Andre Drummond, because he's known for his defensive prowess, the Knicks are going to be scared to play in the playoffs, no matter who you are. I said it a week ago. I said it 2 weeks ago. If I'm the Nets, I would be concerned about facing off with the Knicks in the first round of the playoff. I'll be highly concerned.
And that's not far-fetched, be that he's a New York boy.
Yeah, exactly. Because I think he's trying to come back to New York. Fig, what's your thoughts about the game last night? And of course, the Andre Drummond possibility of landing on New York.
Man, let me tell you something. Like Talent, I slept very good last night. I slept like a baby. Man, listen. Let me tell you what was good about last night. This was the second time that we played the Washington Wizards in a week. It was almost like a back-to-back. I think we played them like a couple of days ago. And the most difficult thing to do in the NBA is to see a team twice in 1 week and to be able to beat them. So when Washington got out to a big lead, I was like, okay, yeah, it's going to be difficult to beat them boys because they coming back with a certain level of aggression. They got up 17 points. They got Russell Westbrook, Bradley Beal, the Asian kid. I forget his name, man. Hiroshi, something. I forget. He was playing well. The whole team was playing well, and they beat up on the Knicks the first half. And then, the defense kicked in. The Knicks started hitting shots, and they turned it into a game. And like you said, Frank, if they get a player that plays defense, which New York is a defensive team. Let's face it. We don't have no prolific offensive scorers, like the Lakers and like the Nets. But if we get a defensive player like an Andre Drummond, which is, talented to tell you, from Mount Vernon, New York City area, and he's playing defense at the level that he can play with the core that the Knicks have, we will be a problem for any team that comes into the Garden, for sure.
Let me stop talking about the NBA for a hot second because there's breaking news.
Oh, excuse me. I'm sorry. My bad. Sorry.
Yeah, because you can. I'm gonna come back to that in a second. Let me just say this: breaking news happened just now. The Dolphins in the NFL, the Dolphins are trading their number 3 pick to the 49ers, and they're trading it for the number 12 pick, the 2021 third-round pick, and 2 future first-round picks. So the Dolphins made this move with the 49ers. The 49ers are coming up that high. The 49ers are looking to probably going to make a splash and get one of those Justin Field type of quarterbacks, and that probably means they're going to probably trade Garoppolo. You know what I mean? Like, because they're making this move right now, and they got a lot of picks for this. You know what I mean? That's some excellent move for them. So I don't know. I mean, it looks like the Dolphins are going to try to make a move because Justin Fields will be available, Zach Wilson, a couple of these high-level QBs will be available, and the signs are pointing for Jimmy Garoppolo to be out the door. That's the way I'm looking at it. But my man, my mellow, Mr. Steve Wilson is in the building, and he's joining us. I don't know what happened to Steve's camera, but Steve came the other way. Steve Wilson, how you doing, brother? How's everything, man?
What's going on, y'all? How y'all doing, man?
We appreciate you.
Steve!
What the deal?
We appreciate you joining the show. We're going to talk about the NFL in a second, but Steve, I know I think you're from New York, in the New York area.
Buffalo, baby, Buffalo.
Buffalo,
Yeah.
New York, Cold Springs, son.
Yeah. So I want to ask you, man, turn your phone this way if you can. Turn your phone this way. Yeah, I'm going to ask you, what's your thoughts on how the Knicks came about from that down 17 last night, and what do you think about the Knicks being able to make some moves? Because let's face it, right now the Knicks are one of the scariest teams in the league. They're getting hot at just the right time. They're doing the right things that they got to be doing, bro. It really looks good for them. So, Talent, switch your hats back.
You have to understand, the Knicks will never be good. I'm sorry to tell you this. I mean, they're starting to get good now, but they're going to let you down in the playoffs like they always do. Let's stop putting hope into the Knicks. Dolan is not going to let this team ever be good, ever. They're starting to gel and look good, but watch when the playoffs. Boom, boom, ba-dum. Y'all know it. Lakers going to win again. We're going to get healthy. Why is Talent walking around? I'm going to need you to sit down and pay attention. That hat does nothing for you.
Yo, Steve, I can't believe you, man. I mean, as a dude from Buffalo, man, we've been, as New York City dudes, man, we've been riding with the Bills for a long time. And for you to come out and bash our Knicks, our beloved Knicks, man, for you to come out as a New Yorker and bash the Knicks, I just don't know what to say.
Okay, I'm gonna be honest. You want me to tell you why I bashed the Knicks? Because my uncle Daryl used to torture me when I lived in the South Bronx because he loved the Knicks so much that I remember when John Starks dunked on Jordan with the left hand.
Oh, yes, sir.
This fool would come in the living room and just keep dunking on me, and I hated him so much that I started to hate the Knicks.
Wow.
That's all it was. I really don't care about the Knicks, all because of my uncle Daryl and your owner, Dolan.
Damn it, Daryl.
Let me keep this conversation moving on. Yesterday, you know what nobody's talking about? Nobody is talking about the Bulls, what the Bulls did yesterday, and the team that they have now. People heard the moves happen and everything else. But the Bulls landed Nikola Vucevic, can't pronounce his name. They landed Al-Farouq Aminu. They landed Daniel Tice, and they also landed Javonte Green from the Celtics. And they all are playing with Zach LaVine. The Bulls right now are number 4 in this playoff seeding. You know what I mean? They right now could make a scary run at things right now with the team that they added. They also have 2 of the top defensive rebounders in the league right now playing on the same team. So, Steve, what do you
all
think
the
about
wasting
Bulls
time?
right
The
now?
Lakers gonna be healthy in 4 weeks. Why are we wasting time? The Lakers gonna win. Why are you wasting time? In 4 weeks we're gonna be healthy. Why are we talking about this? This is a waste of time. As soon as AD come back and LeBron healthy, this is all a waste of time.
Are you crazy? You can tell by all the stuff on that counter behind you, you're confused. It's mad shit on that counter. You don't know if you having lunch, brunch, breakfast,
First
dinner.
of all, I'm cooking and cleaning. Goddamn, what's this?
It ain't dirty. It ain't dirty. It's just
I got
all
my
over.
Brenner filter. I got.
You look like you making coffee quesadillas.
Yeah, okay, so Tal, let me ask you, bro. What do you think about Chicago Bulls? The Bulls are making, because right now the Bulls are trying to make a push, man. They're trying to do something too right now, and we can't overlook the Bulls with the team they just assembled yesterday. We cannot overlook.
Are you being serious?
I feel the same way. You can't be serious. I don't think, even with all those pieces they put together, they're still going to need half of next season to do anything with that. I'm more concerned about Miami's landing, to be honest with you, than I am about Chicago. Chicago they put together a nice scrimmage team, I think. I think this team coming out the East with everybody's footing down and established, I think they'll be lucky to hold where they are and not dip 2 slots.
All right,
I'm
okay.
happy. I'm happy for all the girls at Magic City because Lou Williams is back, and I know, and the chef is a good dude. I mean, not that I go there, but I'm happy that they're gonna spend some money on Magic City.
Hey, oh. Let's be respectful now. Let's be respectful. Lou Will only goes to Magic City for the wings. It's only the wings. He ain't gonna make nothing else but the wings
Let me
now.
tell you something, man. Marcus make the best. I mean, I don't know the dude who make the wings, but these people at Magic City make good wings, and Lou Williams is gonna be happy there. I ain't never been there.
Oh my.
Greg, what you think about the Bulls?
Marcus Dean. His name is Marcus.
I ain't never been there. I don't know what you're talking about.
Greg, what you think about the Bulls?
Hold on, Frank. Let's talk about the Bulls. Yeah, the Bulls look good. I don't know, Marcus. What the hell are you talking about? The Bulls look good.
I'm just trying to
listen.
I'm trying to get Figgy's turn, Steve. That's all. Fig, what you think about the Bulls?
Listen, man, with the move that the Bulls made, I mean, it looks good on paper, but you know, Frank, what we really need is to see what the team plays like together. If they can gel, if they can, get their cohesiveness together and stuff like that. You can't just throw pieces together and expect to get something instant. You know what I mean? Especially with so many pieces. If they would have got 1, maybe 2 additions, then you'd be like, oh, but with so many different moving pieces, you don't give, in a COVID season, they're playing so many times, no chance to practice. You don't know what kind of camaraderie that they could build on that team to be able to make it work in such a short period of time. Like Talon said, I'd be more interested in what Miami did, you know what I mean? Because Miami looked really good with the moves that they made.
Yeah, we'll get to that in a second. But I want to, since Steve is joining the show, Steve, let me ask you this. Since you love LA, you in LA and everything else, and you're partial to the Lakers, are you fearful of what the Clippers did by adding Rajon Rondo? Because like Talon said, you add one piece that it could be missing, and Rajon Rondo is that dog that could go in that locker room and could be straightening things out. You know what I mean?
It's funny. It's funny that you having this conversation with me right now. I was just talking to a friend of mine earlier this morning, because Rondo is like the type of general that's going to make them better in the playoffs. And that's kind of scary. But to bang on what Fig said earlier, I think we're going to get Drummond. I think the Lakers are going to get Drummond, and that's going to help us out. So as soon as LeBron and AD come back, it's all a wash, especially if we grab Drummond. So.
Okay. All right. I'm going to ask Talon. You agree with that? What he's
It's a wonder that he said he never been in Magic City, because you sure believe in sorcery. I don't get.
First of all, hold on. First of all, how do you know there's sorcery? I used to date her. She's a stripper at Atlantic City.
But
I put her
Laker
through
fan-
college. She's a good girl now.
Let me ask you a question. Are you a Laker fan or a LeBron fan first?
Wow, that's a good question.
You know why
Nobody-
that's a good question? Because y'all are the equal amount of delusion. Whether you're a Laker fan or LeBron first, y'all dudes be delusional. Like y'all sitting here right now with literally the two players that make your machine move, haven't played, won't play for another month or so, and you just think they're just gonna come back in like roses.
Be the
And
first
win.
8 seed to win it all. Yes.
Okay.
Or they won't be the first A seed to win it.
Yeah, but
Well,
they
they'll
won't
the
be.
next
But
8 seed to win it.
they might be. But
I
talent.
don't want to hurt y'all feelings because I know Talent is a real Knicks fan. Anytime you get up to go get it, man, it's a jersey and all that. That tells you that you're a real Knicks. And I know this is hurtful. And in this time, listen, man, Talent, you are somebody, man. Listen, brother, I'm not here to hurt nobody's feelings, dude. We all in this. And the Knicks can be somebody.
Hold on. Hey, Steve, you know what's funny about that shit? It's so true. I did have to go. I said, where's my Knicks shit? When you be losing so long, you push my Knicks.
He went up and got it, dude. I said, well, you know what? I'm not going to be hurtful. The Knicks can be somebody, okay?
Hey, listen, you know what? I'll say this about the Knicks. I expect them to make the playoffs, and I expect them to serve themselves well in the playoffs. But the team that everybody in the West really needs to worry about, if they're healthy, y'all need to worry about the Nets because KD, James Harden, and Kyrie Irving is going to be a handful to deal with if they end up in the finals. Y'all, I mean, I can't ignore them three.
All right, but let's get back to the topic.
It'll be great basketball.
But let's get back to but let's get back to the topic. The topic is going to talent. The topic is how are you feeling right now that the Clippers made that move? And do you think now Lou Will left, Rajon Rondo came in there, and he's getting ready to straighten things out? I mean, in my opinion, he could straighten things out. We talked about a little bit about it yesterday. We did not know yesterday they were losing Lou Will. So losing Lou Will and adding Rajon Rondo. Are you still feeling the same way you felt yesterday about the moves? What you think, Talon?
Absolutely not. That changes my feelings. Now I'm on the fence now. Now I got mixed feelings. I was gung-ho in them getting Rajon Rondo because of that floor general. We got to admit he's that. However, Lou Will, he's one of those guys that a lot of the things he do, those intangible moves on the court, don't show up in the stats columns. You know what I mean? And he's a difference maker and a motivator. Now, losing that big piece, that's a void to fill too. Right. You know, I know we want the floor general, but that's a void now that is going to be a big hole in the gap. So what they're going to have to do now is a lot more run and gun for it to work for them. You know what I mean? They used to could sit back in the defensive mode, keep a game to 95 points and win and pull it off. But now them games are going to have to clearly be over 105 and better, and they got to run and gun. I have mixed feelings, man. It could go either way.
Yeah, because Lou Will to me was the heart of the team. You know, the quietest kid. Lou Will was that dude.
He definitely was.
Yeah, he got the heart of the team. Fig, what you think?
I disagree with that. I know that Lou Will was, you know, he was a scoring machine. Like his thing is scoring. But I believe that to be quite honest with you, I know this is gonna be like a reach. You know, I'm gonna be reaching. I think Pat Beverly is the heart of that team, man, because he's not a prolific scorer, but I think that's another team that hinges on defense, and they have the people to be able to score quite easily if they get the ball in the right position at the right time. You got Kawhi Leonard, you got Paul George, you got one of the Morris brothers. You got the big center. If he could get a few easy baskets is what wins in the playoffs, and Rondo has been known to make that happen for every team that he's been on, from the Celtics to the Lakers. Every team that Rondo's been on, he's made it possible for other players to get easy baskets, especially in the playoffs.
Big, that wasn't a reach, bro. I could go with that. I could go with Pat Bev. To me, it's either Lou Will or Pat Bev. I would just say Lou Will more than Pat Beverly, but that wasn't a reach. Steve, I'm gonna ask you this, man. Victor Oladipo ended up landing on the Miami Heat. We talked about it just real for a hot second. Could he be that missing piece that Miami needs? And I'm gonna say this right now. It's kind of scary seeing him with Jimmy Butler, in the backcourt together. I mean, especially with Tyler Hero coming off the bench, because they didn't really give up much, and they were able to get Victor Oladipo. So Miami could be kind of scary, bro.
No, that's definitely gonna be a problem in the playoffs because you giving Butler real help now. So that's definitely gonna make them a problem in the East. That's definitely gonna shift a little bit. But I'm still in the East. I'm still going with Brooklyn.
Mm-hmm.
But that's gonna make them a problem. I will say that. That's gonna make them a problem.
You know what the funny thing is? You didn't mention the Sixers at all. Not one breath. You just skip right.
I watched the Sixers beat up on my Lakers last night, and even though they didn't have everybody, I'm just not for whatever reason. It seems like the Sixers they've always had a piece here, they've always had it, but then they just don't show up. I don't understand it. It's like they have all of the pieces, but just when it comes, as soon as they jump that ball, they just like, we're going to go for self.
Okay, I'm going to say this. I can tell right now you ain't seen the Sixers play this year. I can tell right now. I've seen the Sixers play 6 or 7 times, bro. I've watched the Sixers play since I was a child. I've never seen the Sixers look this good. Hands down. Look this good. And the way they playing.
I don't believe it.
I know you got to see it to believe it. Honestly, I was kind of doubtful too because they playing real well without Joel Embiid. Talent. So you agree with you agree with him? And what you thinking right now about Miami? Are you kind of weary of them? What you thinking about Miami? You like the Victor Oladipo addition? Talk to me.
I think Miami's going to be a problem. I think when you look at the East, you do have the Sixers, Brooklyn. You got Miami. You got the Knicks, who are very consistent with the defense. And then, like you said, the Bulls just made some moves. But I think Miami shook me when I seen that. I was like, oh, because we know what Miami did last year. With Motley's crew.
Right.
When you add D, it's like, wait a minute, because this dude can cut it on at will and do whatever you want to do. I agree with Steve about the Sixers. They always look like they got the pieces, and they always let you down at some point. I disagree with you saying this is the best you've seen in all the years of watching the Sixers, because I thought that Allen Iverson Sixers that he took to the championship, I thought they played the most sound ball I've seen in my lifetime.
And I can say I yell at you with Dr. J.
Okay.
Now here's the reason why. I'm gonna explain my reasoning. Okay, right now the Sixers are playing better, faster, moving the ball better. When it was Allen Iverson was the focal point of that team, and they got there on his back. When it was Dr. J, they got there on his back. The Sixers right now are playing team basketball. That's the only reason why I'm saying what I'm saying. I've never seen them play team basketball.
I will argue on that point too, because Dr. J had Charles Barkley, had Moses Malone. It wasn't just Dr. J. He was the star, but he wasn't just.
But bro,
same thing with Allen Iverson. He had role players.
I saw those games too, bro. I saw those games a lot because people in my family were Sixers game. I went to Philly all the time. When Dr. J was playing with them all the time, Dr. J was still running the offense. The offense still went through him. Moses Malone was rebounding. He wasn't a scorer. And my man, Charles Barkley got in there. He helped box out, and he was also mainly with rebound. I'm saying right now, the way the Sixers are built, they got Joel Embiid in the center to score. It's almost like a triangle defense. They're going through him. They also going through Ben Simmons, and they got shooters on the outside. I'm just saying, let me make sure I'm clear.
Joel Embiid is the reason I would never put my money on it.
I get that. I'm just saying overall as a team. I'm just saying
right there.
Right, you're right. You're right with that. Overall as a team, I've never seen the Sixers play this.
He is like a good-looking, cleaned-up hoopty. He's gonna let you down on the turnpike at some point. You're gonna break down with Joe. I guarantee you, he reminds me of that beautiful chick that nobody could believe you bagged, and she got everything. You look at her, she comes in with the gown, the silhouette, the shape, the face, the ass, the tit, boom, pow, pow. And then as soon as you say hi to her, you trying to figure out all night, how did Steve Wilson get this chick? As soon as you say hello, she go, boo, 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 boo. We together.
First of all, Brenda was a good girl, and I don't appreciate you bringing this shit up on here. I told you that in private, you son of a bitch. How dare you?
Yo, man, y'all are crazy. Yo, man, let me tell you this. The thing that gives me pause about about the Sixers is they play. Sometimes they seem to play down to the level of their competition, and they're not always as consistent as you want them to be. Like when they played the Lakers yesterday, when they played without LeBron, without AD, you expected the Sixers they were just missing Joel Embiid. They had everybody else. You would expect the Sixers to be able to blow them out because they really didn't have anybody, and they didn't. The game actually got close. So that gives me pause with the Sixers. And I wonder if Doc still has an opportunity to put his fingerprint on that team and make them defensively structured. Because in the playoffs, there are no surprises. You see this team possibly 7 times in a row.
Hell yeah.
And if you're not playing defense,
yeah, it don't matter.
You're gonna at least see them 4 in a row. You know that much.
Yeah, you know that. All right, before we do the top dogs in about 5 minutes, because we talked about the San Francisco thing real fast, I'm gonna ask you this, and I'm gonna start with you, Talent. I'm gonna say this: does the trade that just happened just now, the swapping of the picks, will that affect Deshaun Watson? Do you think in any way? Because I'm gonna give you my so-called Pelican brief that I've been sitting here thinking about real fast, because I can see the dominoes getting ready to slowly matriculate. Is the word I'm gonna use for the day. What you think, Talent?
Well, the news here in New York, I think it doesn't affect him because over here in New York, they're talking heavy about the Jets being in the high part of the runnings. So I think that given what's going on with him, his mind is going to be made up. Him and the agents, they got their mind made up with their destinations, and I don't think San Fran's in there.
Right.
No, I don't think San Fran's in that running, but I do think that the Garoppolo situation, if your Pelican brief is correct and he's going to move, then it changes everything. Then that might have some, parameters that reach out and touch a Watson. But if Garoppolo stays put, has nothing to do with him.
Yeah, but it's definitely going to be a domino effect. I'll tell you what I'm going to think after I let Fig talk. Steve, you go. What you think?
Well, the quarterback carousel is crazy to me because I don't use reality because I'm a Bills Mafia fan. So you have to understand, I'm not going to use reality. So I want Garoppolo to stay on the West. Deshaun Watson can do whatever the hell he wants to stay on the West. Any quarterback can stay on the West as long as you don't come to the AFC East. I'm Bills Mafia, so we're going to win the Super Bowl.
Okay. He even threw that hat in there. You see that, y'all? Y'all see that fake? Do you think it's going to be a domino effect right now? What's getting ready to happen with what what San Francisco just did? What you think?
It possibly could be, man. San Francisco, man. They were like a couple, they were like right there, like year before last, and it seems like they took a step back as far as their quarterback play. They couldn't keep Jimmy G.
When they let go of Kaepernick, you mean? Is that what
well, yeah, that's a curse on them. But they couldn't keep Jimmy G healthy, and when he was playing at a healthy clip, man, San Francisco was right there. So if San Francisco gets a really good quarterback, I think that they can make some noise. The only thing is, I just don't see a rookie being able to do that. Very rare you're going to get a rookie to come into the NFL and turn it on its head, man. That's not something that happens that much.
Okay, now let me throw you all up my Pelican brief. Y'all ready for my Pelican brief?
Here's
my Pelican brief. I'm going to say right now on the record in front of all y'all that they made that trade because they're going to definitely get rid of Jimmy Garoppolo. But they're going to bring back Alex Smith because he's available. He's out there. He's sitting there right now with no job. He knows the system. He knows everybody out there. They're going to bring him back for peanuts, and they're going to end up drafting maybe a Justin Fields or somebody who's, one of these rookies and have them sit under him for maybe this upcoming year. And then they're going to bring him into the fold next year. That's
so you think they're going to wash one season?
Yeah, I think I ain't say wash, but they're going to definitely bring him in. Because listen, Alex Smith last year was 4-1 when he played, and he was very, very good in that 4-1. The reason why they lost games, throughout the whole season, the reason was because the opt-outs they had, and some obviously they didn't have no wide receivers. But now Alex Smith is coming to a team. They got wide receivers. They got the whole team. They're just missing on the quarterback. The quarterback and everybody's coming back from opt-outs. The last season was a mirage for a lot of teams because of COVID. You can't even, and injuries. San Francisco was hit by a lot of injuries last year and COVID. Now, those players are coming back. That defense is coming back. And even the quarterback is coming back, but he's gonna get traded. So yeah, I'm gonna throw it out there and say they're gonna get rid of Jimmy G. They're gonna bring in Alex Smith, and they also gonna sit there and say, you know what? For a year, we're gonna see how Alex Smith does us, and then we're gonna see how good we do because Alex Smith can bring those dudes deep in the playoffs. That's my.
So you gonna so basically what you're saying is we're gonna get rid of injury prone Jimmy G to go get peg leg Alex Smith. He's basically a quarterback with one leg. So one injury for the other injury.
I'm going to say something to you. One injury, he had one injury. He ain't no injury prone. He had one injury, and the chance of him getting injured like that again is minute.
Jimmy G. Jimmy G was injury prone.
Yeah, and I'm saying Alex Smith, they're going to get and bring him in, and he had hardly any injuries his whole career. And
he said they're going to bag the year. That's basically
this is what I heard. This is what I heard. Frank, you drink Hennessy with whiskey?
Look, hey, talent, what you don't understand is Frank designed that for me. He did all that.
Right.
I hired Frank to do my home for me. This is what this nigga did right here.
Hey, Steve, for the record, what they ain't telling you is I haven't been wrong on tuning me on my Pelican briefs.
Yes, you have.
I have not.
I'm offended, Frank. You went over there and designed that and then come over here and make no Hennessy quesadillas. I've been working with this man for a year straight.
Yo, talent. A Hennessy quesadilla smoothie, because you didn't see the bullet back there. After he makes it, he put it in the bullet and turned it into a smoothie.
All right, well, we'll see. Like I said, we'll see. I did one thing I know for a fact. With the trade they made, Jimmy G's gone. We don't know who they're going to bring back. The only person that makes sense to bring back right now is somebody who knows their system, so they don't lose nothing. To me, it makes the most sense for them to bring back Alex Smith than having a rookie come in and have to learn the whole system all over. So y'all, we'll see.
You think that you were bringing a veteran that you think is going to be on less. I think maybe 1 year. If you bring him in, for 1 year. Yeah. So why not bring? If you're going to bag the year anyway, why not bring in a rookie and let him learn?
Well, but the problem is, if you bring in a rookie and let him learn, you're going to probably lose more games than you would if you bring in a veteran who already knows your system.
But if you go bag the system anyway, you get a better draft choice while there's rookies learning.
Maybe, but also when you bring in a veteran who knows the system, you will go further in the playoffs, and it's about money right now. Maybe people may think it's about W.
I don't think Alex Smith will get you to the playoffs. I think you bagging your year. You bring him.
We'll see. At the end of the day, any team he goes to, we'll see, and then we'll circle back and get a steak dinner on how good he does. Right, Steve? We can do that, okay? Because
hey Frank, do you see Jimmy G going to the Patriots?
I pray not.
No, they already signed for
Cam Newton.
Yeah,
but he only getting like a couple million. He ain't getting that much money.
And Cam Newton has a backup QB contract, so they could be making plays for Jimmy G. Like I said, I pray not, because
we don't want nobody going to the AFC. Why don't y'all turn the channel? I don't like when you talk about that.
We gotta get ready to get my man Fig to get ready to do his top dogs. So I want to see who he picked this week. And I'm pretty sure the top 5 is gonna probably be the starting 5 for the Knicks, but we'll see what he picks.
And you better believe it, baby. Listen, this is my top dog for the week. You don't have to agree with me. I'm gonna drop mine, and then you tell me who yours are. I got number 1 on my top dog list. I got my man James Harden, man. He been putting in the work with LKD and Kyrie. Dropped 25 points, 7 rebounds, 17 assists. Brooklyn versus Portland with that bad man Dame Dollar over there. 116 to 112. James Harden led the Knicks to a win all by his damn self. Number 2 on my list, I got my boy from the Knicks. You know, this is the best player on the Knicks. Made his first year All-Star. My man Julius Randle dropped 37 points, 6 rebounds, 2 assists. The Knicks versus the Wizards in game 1. Damn near blew them out 131 to 113. Julius Randle was in his bag. Next up on my list, number 3, I got to give it to this man. I mean, we don't see much of him because of where he plays, but I got to give it to my man De'Aaron Fox, dropping 44 points, 2 rebounds, 7 assists. The Kings versus the Warriors on a blowout, 141 to 119. De'Aaron Fox, that's a bad boy. That's a bad boy in another market. De'Aaron Fox is the bad boy. Number 4 on my list, ladies and gentlemen, my man, PG-13 came back to do the damn thing. 24 points, 13 rebounds, 4 assists. The Clippers versus the Spurs in a defensive struggle, 98-85. Without Kawhi, PG was in his bag. 5 on my list. This is the last one, topping it all. My man, the old veteran himself, dusting it off. Danny Green, dusting off them sneakers, dropping 28 points, 5 rebounds. He didn't get no assists, but he was damn sure a spot-up shooter, knocking it down. 70 the 76ers over the Lakers, 109-101, and he hit the shot to break the back of the Lakers in a tight one without the stars, LeBron James and AD. My man Danny Green, on the night when he picked up his championship ring, he dropped that point. He was in his bag. That's the dog, baby. Yes,
Hey,
sir.
Steve, do you like his top dogs? Could you add a takeaway? Because everybody gets on me, so I'm not gonna say nothing who I would add a takeaway. You know, everybody gets on me. Like they say every week, Frank, you say something about his top dogs every week. I'm not gonna say nothing.
You can't stop now, Frank.
I'm gonna be quiet. I'll be quiet. What do you think about his top dogs, Big Steve?
Well, I agree with his top dogs, but I want to talk about every time when I get on a platform, I just wanted to let the singer Maya know that I have a crush on her. I saw her. I heard she's single, and I always got to put my plea out there. So I don't know what this top dog. I just want her to know that when I dye my beard, I look younger. I look like I'm like 41. So I saw her one time at Arby's in Hollywood, and I just wanted to say hi to her. She looks so beautiful. I just wanted to say that. But
you didn't say nothing to her, Steve?
I got scared, man. She looked too fine. I just walked away.
Steve, yo, man, how did you blow the perfect setup? If you see a beautiful woman like that at Arby's, all you got to do is walk up there and say, hey, baby, I'm just like Arby's. I have the meat.
No, she was walking. That's called sexual assault, man. I ain't saying no shit like that. You crazy?
He's trying to get you arrested.
Have you ever heard of Me Too? You crazy? You trying to get me? I'm trying to come up in this business. You trying to get me Too?
He tried to get you arrested and be a headline all on.
We have the meat.
First of all, she wasn't in the Arby's. I was coming out the Arby's and she was walking by. But
that's different. That's different.
Yeah, either way it goes, it's assault. Even if she was in there, if I said, I got some meat, it's still assault. I mean,
she's a vegan.
I don't even want to ride on a train with Fig now because something just tell me this dude got cases we don't know about.
Hey, Fig got a tattoo of Governor Cuomo, right?
Fig got a picture of him and Governor Cuomo when he's sitting on the shoulder like this.
He got the New York Yankee logo right here with a sign saying we got some meat.
Fig is Governor Cuomo's advisor.
Oh my goodness.
Hey, listen. I don't care what nobody say. Y'all talk about Governor Cuomo. Anybody say it ain't what Donald Trump said. I ain't grabbing no women in the biscuits. I can tell you that much.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Let me ask you.
That line do sound like you was on the bus.
Let me ask you all this last question, man, because I'm sure we're gonna probably keep going on and on with this. I'm gonna start with you, Steve. I know you're a Buffalo fan, but I want to talk about the NFC, and I'm gonna ask you about Atlanta. If you're Atlanta, you're the Atlanta Falcons, and they are a travesty right now with the GM, with the head coach, everything. But they got the number 4 pick in the draft. What do you do with the number 4 pick in the draft? Do you draft a QB and then trade Matt Ryan? Because your years are washed regardless.
Well, of course you got to draft a quarterback. I mean, you got to start with your future. I mean, if you're the Atlanta GM, first of all, you're in a hot seat. Let's be honest. You're in a hot seat, so you got to make sure you got to get a future quarterback. I don't even know who's because you're not gonna get Lawrence, but is this a good quarterback draft?
Yeah, it's a great quarterback draft. They got 6. They got about 6 QBs. Yeah.
So you get yourself a good quarterback and be smart, man, and build your offensive line. If I was a GM, listen, I play Madden all the time. Let me teach these GMs in the NFL. If any NFL GM is listening, build your offensive line. I don't know why y'all going to get. You got to protect your court. See, I play Madden, so I know what I'm talking about. They just know how to take me serious. I called one Bills drive and told them I play Madden. They hung up on me. But never mind. But they don't respect me. I've been trying to tell these people we can win a Super Bowl if y'all just listen to some of the plays I call. But these people
Steve,
don't want to pay attention.
You right, Steve. You are absolutely right.
They be blocking my number and stupid shit. Come on, man. Got these FBI coming to my house. These white folk talking about I'm going too far. I mean, I don't appreciate all that. I'm a fan. You know what I'm saying?
Yo,
anyway, I digress.
I can see Steve in a board meeting with the top brass, and the CEO comes in, the owner comes in. All right, we got Steve Wilson with us. He plays a lot of Madden. He's going to tell us the direction the team needs.
You understand what I'm saying? I remember one time I was in a rich stadium I didn't know that the owner had security around him because he was just walking in the tunnel by himself because in like a normal person. And I took 2 steps and my man grabbed me and said, dude, you about to get your ass whooped. And I didn't know all them big dudes was with him. You know? I was just going to go say hi to him and say, hey, man, I don't like them trades you've been making. And I was about to get my ass whooped, but that's another story.
Hey, man, listen. Steve is absolutely right, man. Let me tell you something. If I'm in Atlanta, what I do, I trade off that number 4 for some more draft picks and possibly a player or 2 and stuff like that to see if I could shore up my offensive line. Let me tell you this. Matt Ryan may not be top 5 quarterback, but Matt Ryan is a good enough quarterback that if you give him an offensive line and some other pieces, he could be a formidable player. I don't know why people keep. How do you keep drafting a quarterback with no line to protect him? That makes no sense. We saw the best quarterback in the NFL without an offensive line, and he looked pedestrian.
Talent, what you think?
Start playing.
Well, this is what I think. First of all, at the GM of Atlanta, first of all, you got to go get this Negro out the club. That's first of all. Go get him out the club, right? Tell him it's COVID season. Put his mask on. Then you sit down and you put together a plan. I'm with Fig. I don't think the answer is getting rid of Matt Ryan and going and getting a quarterback. I think Matt Ryan is, when you have a quarterback, and to me, you wasted their time for a couple of years, a few seasons, that quarterback's still fresh. He's not beat up. So he has mileage still left on him. Matt Ryan, we see Matt Ryan play. He's not playing up to his age. He's playing pretty young leggish. You know what I mean? So you don't have to get rid of him. You got to make other moves, man. I mean, you still got a couple of seasons, good seasons left in Matt Ryan. That's what I think.
Okay. All right. I'll say
make a trade of that pick. Get somebody else.
I'll say right now, the Dolphins are doing it right now because they just traded back up. They got the number 6 and 156 pick from the Eagles, and they traded back up, and now they landed at number 12. So they went. Listen, the Dolphins are trying to make some things happen in the AFC.
They are, and I don't like that shit at all.
Did you say number 56 pick?
Yeah, but the Eagles traded their number 6 and 156 pick to the Dolphins, and they got the 12. Huh?
156?
Yes, 156, and they got 12 and 123. But
who do you get at 156? A Gatorade?
That's a linebacker, somebody. That's not the point. The point is they just landed at number 12. They landed at number 12. So they gave up a little something, and they still in the top 15 making picks because the Dolphins don't need a QB. They don't care about that.
Right.
They don't care about that. But you notice what they're doing. You know what I mean? Listen, that management out there, man, they know what they're doing, man. They're trying to put together something that's going to topple the AFC.
And that's very smart, Frank, because listen, I don't care what nobody says. Tua Tagovailoa is still a decent quarterback, and if you give this guy some help and some pieces, he's formidable enough to be able to get some games under his belt. This kid, he really balled out. You know what I mean? Yeah. He had a couple of missteps, but you don't expect a rookie to make mistakes. I mean, my God, in this instant world, people want everything microwave. He's a rookie quarterback. Of course he's going to make mistakes. But if you give him some playmakers, he can make it happen, man.
We got to get ready to roll out. Steve, I want to thank you for joining the show, man. I appreciate it.
Steve Wilson, baby.
I don't want to go.
Well, I'll bring you back Monday. Monday, Steve. Tell everybody
put this back there, Steve. Put this back there.
Thank you, man.
Steve, tell everybody out there how they can follow you, brother.
You can follow me on, they stole my Twitter page, so I'm not on Twitter no more, but you can follow me on there's some dude in Saudi Arabia stole my page. It's gone. Anyway, I'm showing camels on my page now. But anyway, You can follow me on Instagram, Steve Wilson, on Facebook, comedian Steve Wilson. And the world about to open up, so I'm gonna see y'all out there everywhere, man.
There it is. There it is. Thank you for joining the show, Steve. We appreciate your talent. Tell everybody out there how they can follow you.
Hey, all platforms, man. I'm gonna be on at 6:00 today with my race debater show. I'm on Twitter at It's Just Comedy. I'm on Instagram, Talent Duck Comedian, and Facebook, NY King Talent.
There it is. There it is. Fix. Everybody out there, they can follow you.
Man, first off, I'm surprised that Steve didn't come on with one of them cigars as GM. But ladies and gentlemen, then your boy Fig. You can follow me on all social media platforms right there at Comedian Fig, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And Monday through Friday, I be damn. You can find your boy Monday through Friday, 1 to 2 p.m. on the box seat. And I don't care what nobody say. This is the best damn sports show on TV.
Y'all, thanks for watching. Steve, thank you for joining the show. Thanks, Talent. Thanks, Greg. We appreciate y'all. We're going to be back Monday at the same time. You know how we do. This show's called The Box Seats. We're on the channel called The Humor Mill. You can download the app, call your cable service provider, all of that, and then some. And y'all seeing the mirage right now. Don't worry about it. Don't adjust your screens. We'll be back Monday, same time. Y'all have a good weekend.